Hello there, this is a tutorial for the Procedural Embroidery tool. So if you open the file, this is what you see. You have a plane or a grid with the embroidery of a bird on it. And here on the side we have all the parameters. So you can change the size in the X and Y dimensions. Then it gets bigger. Let's put that back to 3. We here have the vertices X and Y of the grid. If you toggle grid, then you will see the grid. And if we make more, you see that it gets more stitches in the X direction. And if we do it in the Y direction, it gets more stitches in the Y direction. If we turn it off, it just randomly distributes the stitches, which might be a little bit more realistic in some cases. The pattern that we have on here, the bird image, we can change the translation of it on the plane. We can move it from left to right, from top to bottom. In the Z-axis it won't really do anything in this example. We have also the Z-axis where you can change the rotation. If you put it on 90, you flip it 90 degrees. Put that back to 0. And here we have the image color. So it's the color of the bird and the stitches. And here we have the image mask. The image mask we use to cut it out. So if we, for example, toggle plane, here we can toggle the background. We can toggle the background stitches, and then it fills the whole plane. So for this toggle background, we need the mask to mask out the bird. And if we go into rendering, this is the color image, and here we have the mask. So we can cut out the bird and only have the embroidery in this area where the bird is. And here are some parameters for the stitches. So if we zoom in a little bit on the stitches, we can make the stitch longer. You see that it becomes longer. When I go back to 8, it becomes shorter. We have the stitch radius, so it becomes a lot wider. We can edit the stitch curve so it becomes more high. So it almost looks like a carpet now. We have the stitch rotation where you can rotate all the stitches in a direction. We actually use the grayscale of the image to rotate them in particular areas. So it's not only one direction, it will rotate every stitch for every patch. And we also have a stitch displace with which you can get it a little bit higher. If it's intersecting with your model, you can give it a little bit of height. If we put this on 0, well, it still works, but for some curved surfaces it won't work, and then it's intersecting. If we go to toggle holes, we see here we have some holes with normals. Toggle holes, the holes will disappear. We have a hole size, and there you see that the size of the holes of the stitches will go bigger or smaller. The stitch resolution, we can up the resolution. You set it to 0, it's a bit chunky. If we set it to 1, it's quite normal. And here we have alphas for baking, so it just becomes a black dot instead of an alpha map. And also we can use an open or closed stitch. There's not a really big difference, but for baking you can also unwrap the stitches easier if you need to do that. So this is the plane. We also have the stitches or the embroidery on 3D objects. Then we can go into the geometry nodes. Go here. Here you see that it's curving, and we use the UV map of this cube to map the bird on it. And here you also have all the same parameters. You can all connect them into the parameter socket, and then you can edit them here, but for the rest it's all the same. You have some more options for the density of the stitches. If we put this to 500, for example, you get less stitches. You have minimal density that you can get more space in between the stitches. The density factor, it's easier to change that density from 0 to 1, and you have a seed where you can change the randomness. For the rest, it's all the same. So in this way, it becomes really easy to put embroidery on your models. And we have like we have a ball mesh here, we have a cube, and we have just the panel, the plane. So I hope this is useful, and see you in the next one.